Hi, my name is Sherry Basello. I graduated in 2001 with a degree in art. This is my 5th year anniversary for opening my own studio in Orlando, Florida, Luna Mosaic Arts. Right now I'm working on a large mosaic mural for a new park in Orange County.
I parlayed my BFA in theater production design into a commercial interior design career, where my projects continue that dramatic flair. With a focus on stage composition and storyline, my education helps me set the scene for my designs and also drives my photography, translating into branding and visual storytelling in my folio of work. I am Angela Hinton, creator of AMH Folio, and I graduated from Theater UCF in 2001.
Welcome to Arts On, everyone, a virtual showcase of creativity at UCF. I'm Kayla Kelsey Morales, and we are so excited you're tuning in. Tonight's event is the culmination of months of hard work and collaboration between myself and my husband, Joshian Morales, and our company, Kelsey Morales Company, and so many incredible people from the UCF of College of Arts and Humanities. You'll see some wonderful content tonight, both live and pre-recorded. Make sure to keep an eye on the chat, as we'll be sharing links throughout the night for more content and how to find your favorite artists. Now, without further ado, please welcome to our virtual stage, Michael Weinstein and Rudy McDaniel, the directors of the School of Arts, Performing Arts, and School of School of Visual Arts and Design, respectively. Take it away, Michael and Rudy.
Hi, Rudy.
Hi, Michael. Long time no see. I hear we're talking about UCF Celebrates the Arts tonight.
Yeah, seems like we've been talking about that for the last 12 months. So let's kick it off. Let's start the event. Tonight's event is part of the UCF Celebrates the Arts, an annual festival showcasing the diverse arts at the university. It's a live in-person festival in normal years, held at Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts with events from the College of Arts and Humanities like concerts, theater productions, visual arts, and more.
Last year, we had to cancel the event. And so to make sure we'd have something for you and for our students, we created a virtual festival to go alongside the in-person events. This year's festival was touch and go for a while. Usually we start planning the next festival the day after the current one ends, but it wasn't until January that we were sure we'd be able to proceed.
In 2020, our students, faculty, and staff had been preparing for about a year, and 2 weeks before we would have opened, well, you know what happened. It was crushing. Imagine you're a senior, it's your senior year, your big showcase. This is your final performance as a student, and you don't get to do it. It was so difficult for the students emotionally, but there's more to it than just disappointment. Our students in the performing arts learn from engagement with live audiences. There's so much more to that than just applause. That experience of the live audience is integral to their education. Connecting with the public is what art is all about. Rudy, what do you see as the important aspects of presenting public arts events?
I agree with you totally, Michael. I think it's that public engagement that's so critical. And you know, when you're in a classroom producing art, you get feedback from your peers and from your instructors, but having that community feedback, having, you know, different people from the community come and experiencing the art, whether it's visual or sculptural or mixed media, it's really important. And I think it gives the artists a sense of accomplishment and pride, and also gives them a sense of what they might change with the art as it evolves and moves to the next step. I think there's also that element of professionalization of, you know, just public speaking, of talking about your work in different audiences and in different sorts of contexts. And I also think, Michael, there's the community good that comes out of this, right? As a state university, part of our mandate is to elevate the community around us, to give back to the community. And at times like these in particular, I think the arts can bring people together. I think back to the horrific shooting at Pulse, when downtown we had thousands gathered at the front yard of the Dr. Phillips Center, and it became a place of healing and of community. And I think this past year has also been tough. We've had a lot of isolation, we've had a lot of challenges, and we've had to adapt as a community. And it's been really great to have events like this that can bring the community together in a really positive way and showcase some of the beautiful work and performances that we've been able to have our students create. Lastly, I think faculty, it's great for faculty because they get to see their students work in a new light in front of new audiences, but also you see research and creative scholarship from across the college and across the university. So not just in your own areas. And then lastly, everyone just gets to see and experience beautiful art and performances. So this year's UCF Celebrates the Arts is serving a lot of people in different ways. Michael, tell me this, what do you think is particularly special about Celebrates the Arts as opposed to events on campus?
Well, even in this year, we're getting to perform in a world-class venue. The lawn on the front lawn at Dr. Phillips is one of 3 or 4 in the world doing this kind of thing on this scale. And you know we love scale at UCF. So we get to perform in world-class stages, stages that we don't have on campus, venues that we don't have anything like on campus. So the students get to experience not only the small theater and music venues, but also a big major professional world-class venue. We reach new audiences. A lot of people don't want to come do the hike up to Northeast Orlando to UCF and come to our theaters. So this is a wonderful opportunity for us to bring our work to the community, and everybody's familiar with and comfortable with the Dr. Phillips Center. Smaller individual events that we have are, you know, tend to have difficulty drawing audiences on the campus environment. So it's nice to be part of a larger festival that's drawing people into a communal arts experience where smaller ensembles and smaller theater groups and arts experiences can get an audience through just the sheer scope of the number of people that are coming down to celebrate with us. When you see it on a big schedule like this, it gives insight into all of the things we do. There's a wide breadth of things we do, both large and small. This year, we obviously had to make some changes in preparation and presentation. In a few minutes, you'll see a video that talks about some of the ways our musicians adapted this year. Rudy, how did your musicians, how did your artists adapt this year?
Well, Michael, as you know, there's challenges with presenting just in a normal year, right? With depending on the particular performance or the art being created, everything from staging to lighting to logistics, transportation. And, you know, I think about transporting some of the larger sculptures we've done in prior years. You've had the same things with people playing big instruments and things. So it's logistically challenging in a normal year. This year we had COVID, right? So we had social distancing guidelines and testing and public safety and all of those sorts of issues. So what we did in the visual arts is we were able to capture a lot of digital work. So photographs of paintings, of drawings, of animations, and all of these things. And we have these 45-minute artful moment videos that are premiering in front of all of the exhibitions. So we're excited about those. We also have an event called Creative Clash, which takes place, and it's a timed competition that pairs alumni with SVAD students, and they're given a theme at the start of the event, and then they have a certain amount of time to do this competition, and audience has a chance to weigh in on who the winner is, and that's a lot of fun. We also have a lot of students, faculty, and staff participating in tonight's event, and I don't want to spoil the surprise. You'll be seeing one of those faculty members and her students in just a few moments here in the program. But the main thing that we have are these 45-minute videos that show prior to each event. Now, these are also available to watch online as part of the virtual festival, which you can access at arts.ucf.edu/celebrates. And they include broader offerings from the rest of the College of Arts and Humanities as well, including creative writing readings, a documentary, a conversation about the art of Black language, and more.
And this is all in addition to the in-person events on the lawn and inside the Dr. Phillips Center, where we're doing our dance concert inside. I hope you'll join us in person or online, whatever works for you. In spite of all the obstacles, our students and faculty have prepared a phenomenal program for UCF Celebrates the Arts. You really need to experience it to understand the journey our artists have been through over the past year. Anything to add, Rudy?
Just to agree, Michael, this year has been a doozy, and I'm so proud of our faculty, staff, and students for doing that thing that UCF Knights do, charging on.
Now it's my pleasure to introduce our host for the evening, Justin Matthew Sargent. This 2008 BFA musical theater alumnus has starred as Peter Parker in the Broadway blockbuster SPIDERMAN Turn Off the Dark, as Drew in Rock of Ages, and was in the original Broadway cast of Bonnie and Clyde, and most recently appeared in Jesus Christ Superstar live on NBC, and the new Broadway-bound musical Super You. All that to say, he's an incredible performer. We're super proud of him, and now let's take a look at him in action.
Oh my goodness, what a ham, that guy, unbelievable. And that hair, so long. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Rudy. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be returning to UCF, for some semblance of returning, at least in this virtual capacity. But anyways, tonight I'll get to usher you through how the arts and creativity come up to life at UCF with conversations, performances, and digital content. Now, it's been a few minutes since I've been on campus myself, so I'm excited to learn about all the things happening as well. All the amazing creativity we'll see tonight has been created, curated, or developed by UCF students, faculty, staff members, or alumni. And speaking of creating art, let's jump right into our first segment, which will feature art being made in real time. What? Yes, we're doing it. It's happening. It's crazy. I know. Let's go. We're going to throw it over to Ashley Taylor, who is a lecturer for the School of Visual Arts and Design, and her printmaking students as they get started on making a print design for UCF Celebrates the Arts. Hey, Ashley.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Printmaking. I'm Ashley
What's
Taylor.
going
I'm
on?
a lecturer with the School of Visual Arts and Design. This is the print room in the Visual Arts building. Today, say hello to the crew back there. Today, we are going to be screen printing a unique piece of work right here on this substrate within 2 hours. We're going to be using the process of screen printing like this. So if you have a shirt with artwork on it, it's probably been screen printed. What it is you're running ink through a stencil to create multiples of one piece of artwork. This is the film. And then, so if you look around the room here, you're going to use all these inks, as well as all of these screens to again create a custom artwork. This artwork is actually going to hang in the union after this. And yeah, so we're going to have some fun. What else? Yeah. So stay tuned throughout the course of this event. We're going to be popping in. You're going to see it in progress. And then at the end today, you're going to see the final result. All right. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jeff Moore. I'm the Dean of the College of Arts and Humanities, and joining us tonight, I have the pleasure of introducing you to President Alexander Cartwright. Alex Cartwright is joining us tonight for his first UCF Celebrates the Arts. Alex, how are you doing tonight?
Good, and you, Dean Moore. It's great to be here.
Well, it's great to have you here. And today we wanted to talk to you about creativity and why it matters. So let's just jump in. UCF is a large research university. And your background's in engineering. Why
Yes.
should we even care about arts and creativity? Does it matter if a scientist or engineer or business person thinks creatively?
You know, what's amazing about people who are creative is that they're able to see future, they're able to see different products, they're able to see different concepts than what they've learned about. And I think it's that extension, that ability to take what you've learned and understand that maybe you're going to be the one that develops something completely brand new, something completely different that will transform the way we use technology. And I think it goes beyond that, right? Is that the arts and humanities and all of the creativity that's involved in those areas teach us how to accept a little bit of the failure that goes along sometimes when you try new things. And that's really critical for anybody that's in engineering or the sciences for sure. So we're taught, you know, things are right or wrong. And when you get out and you start actually doing some new creative activities, you start to realize that the answer is somewhere in the whole spectrum. And how do you learn that? And how do you learn that it's okay to make those mistakes? It's with the things that we do in the arts. And I think that's certainly why they're so important for us as a society, is to continue to emphasize that.
Well, you've touched on some great points there. You know, the idea of trial and error, or trial and learning, as we like to call it in all disciplines, but especially in the arts, and giving us a chance to do that. At the College of Arts and Humanities, you know, I encourage interdisciplinary activity all the time. And some of our most successful projects have been across disciplines, as we need the strength of each other's knowledge and disciplines to solve the big problems. Arts and wellness is one area that we're working on. Also, things like recidivism in prisons. But personally, I'm a musician and I play in orchestras. So what about arts for art's sake? Is there a place for arts sake at UCF?
Absolutely. You know, I look at the talent that we have and the people that are here, and the ability for you to convey emotion, to convey thoughts, and to do that with something other than either the written word or visual. Some people use visual, some people use music. They use all sorts of different ways to actually convey information. And I'm always fascinated by people who have that passion, who have the incredible talent that it takes. And I'm not, just to be clear, I'm not a musician. I certainly don't have a lot of visual art abilities, but I know and I recognize when it's really good, and I appreciate when it's really good. And we all tie to that. And I think the arts, I think back to what reminds me of my home, what reminds me of being in the Bahamas. You know, there's an artist by the name of Eddie Minnis. He did artwork. He also did music, and he's a Bahamian artist, a tremendous talent. But it's his music that actually reminds me so much of the culture that I grew up in and who I am. And I think that's why we need people to be focused on the arts. We need people who are going to continue to convey all of that to society, to educate. You said the other benefits, right? I mean, the arts with health. I mean, it's really clearly documented. It has a huge impact on your ability to remain healthy. So we need those people who are exceptional. We need them to be here, and we want to certainly see the amazing things that they can do.
With the arts, as with the humanities, it's really a discipline in learning how to relate to others, you know, relate to our environment, our culture, and create empathy. And so you're right on that the more people in the arts that we have and the more artistic events we have on campus, I feel we really communicate to our community, both within the campus and extending outside the campus. So and UCF Celebrates the Arts gives us a chance to even extend that out to downtown. And so we're so thankful for that opportunity. Take you off to another topic here. Let's talk about themed experience for a moment. Themed experience is a new program. We've just launched it. Our first class of MFA students are in their second year right now. And the first students in the MS program start in the fall, this next fall. So why do you think the program of themed experience is right for UCF?
Before I answer that, Jeff, I'd like to actually first reflect on something you said. You're talking about the arts and the differences. And, you know, one of the things that's amazing about the arts, the humanities, is that all of us tend to gravitate towards different types, right? Some of us like all types of music and all types of literature. Some like specific things. But what we learn is the ability to respect that others may have a different type of music that they love. And I think that's an important trait to understand, is that we should accept that people may have different views. We should accept that people may have different feelings about music. And it contributes to our understanding of the diversity that we love here at UCF. So I think the arts is a big part in making sure we have the culture that we want for us to have here as a diverse institution that's an inclusive institution. I just wanted to make sure I made that point too. The themed experiences, of course, are just phenomenal, right? We're one of the leaders in that area. We're in a region that is known for themed experiences. We're in a time where people are rethinking what's the opportunities, especially now. What's interesting, especially now with all that's happened with COVID and the pandemic, is an opportunity for us to rethink how we actually entertain, how people might experience a particular place that they may go, and gives people an opportunity to sort of step away from their normal lives, but live something differently. And I think that it's not only from a viewpoint of entertainment, but what I find fascinating about it is how effective it can be at educating people around topics, right? Is that if I'm able to live something, if I'm able to be within that environment and understand it, I have a much better appreciation for what others might be experiencing, what others might be going through, and why people make different decisions. So we're in a position where we have all of the talent that it needs to be there, and we have people around us, partners that are willing to have us think boldly about what we might be able to do and how we might be able to transform experiences for people. So yeah, we're the perfect place for this, and I'm so happy that we're leading it.
Yeah. Well, it's great to be, obviously this is one of our largest industries in this region, and we're poised to be leaders in this area. And as you mentioned, it really brings together a lot of things to create those experiences. We learned a long time ago experiential learning and the value of internships, real world experience, so to speak, in your activities makes a tremendous difference in learning. And I think themed experience opens a new horizon on how we can give that to all disciplines, not specifically themed experience, but the knowledge that we gain in creating these environments for people, immersing people in these environments, can really help change education and the way we teach. And you brought up COVID, silver lining is just how much online enhancement can happen in terms of the additional resources that are more difficult to have face-to-face can happen online. Things can be dropped in, other things to reinforce and introduce, and these are really excellent opportunities that I think the discipline of themed experience tilted towards entertainment can be expanded beyond that.
Well, very much. And if you think about some of the opportunities there too, even in healthcare, there's a lot of evidence that, you can use therapies that are around desensitizing people around certain things. There's ways that this is applicable to all of that too. And I know that there are people already looking at that and how you might be able to do that. But I find it fascinating that we're in a position where we're a leader in the area, and we are the ones who can then define where can we use themed experiences to better the lives of people around the world.
It's such a tie-in to simulation and modeling and virtual reality, augmented reality. All of these things just seem to come together in these different purposes, entertainment or training teachers or training our armed forces, and yet they all have that common bond of the story.
Yes.
You're creating the environment and a story, and the people have to believe it if they're going to experience and have these sort of transcendent experiences that are going to lead to higher learning and higher understanding.
And we all of us who are educators and try to figure out, how do we educate people better? One of the biggest takeaways you can get from almost many of the different types of programs that I've listened to and been a part of is the power of the story. That you can say certain things and try to teach it, and then people may not remember it, but if you connect it to a story in some way, they will remember what you were trying to teach. And that to me is just phenomenal. And I think that's what this is taking that concept and making it into something that is that is transformational and certainly has been transformational. And I look forward certainly to what people are going to be doing here. And I know it's going to put us in a strong position.
It really is exciting because just as that previous question about arts for art's sake, there's humanities for humanity's sake, but it all comes from telling stories, narratives of what happened and what could happen, what could be. And it's just so exciting. When I heard about themed experience, it resonated so hard with me because I saw all of those disciplines working together to help communicate, tell stories, writing, rhetoric, creative writing, English, history, philosophy, religious studies, all of these things merge together with the arts, and it's just fantastic. So it's gratifying to hear your perspective of that as well, because it really is true and has so many potential achievements and potential opportunities for our institution to go. So pretty exciting. Well, it's been great talking to you tonight. I just have one more question. This is your first UCF Celebrates event, and I froze with you on Saturday night at the opera concert. So I know you've been to a few. What do you think of UCF Celebrates so far? And are you and Melinda planning to come to later events later this week?
Of course, I mean, I think it's just fabulous, and we will be back. Definitely we'll be there on Saturday. My wife was a piano performance major and taught band for a number of years. So we love the arts. We just think it's a great thing to be a part of. And we look forward to being there and celebrating with everyone. I am so honored when I'm able to see the hard work that our students and our faculty are putting in, that they're then able to get out there, which I could never, ever dream of doing, and perform at the level that they do. I'm always just so proud of everything that they're doing. So thank you to all of you for making this possible.
Thank you. We appreciate your support and for visiting with us tonight and talking to us about the importance of arts and creativity.
Thank you.
Justin.
Well, thank you, Dean Moore, and thank you, President Cartwright. You know, a lot has changed at UCF since I was a student here, but one of the most exciting things that I've heard the School of Performing Arts announce is the very thing that the Dean and the President just spoke about, the Themed Experience Master's Program. And what a more perfect location for this kind of program than Central Florida, which is the main hub of themed experiences, you know, within the theme parks, and the entire, you know, the convention center. I mean, all of it is just kind of, it's the perfect location. And I cannot wait to see and experience the impact that UCF graduates coming out of this program will have on the entertainment community. It's very exciting. It's so cool. I wish, you know, I'm actually kind of glad it wasn't available when I was a student, because I may have, I don't know, I may have changed over there. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and you know, it's a big part of the Disney thing right now. So like, I think I'd be going after it. But anyways, I digress. Speaking of virtual worlds, let's find out how UCF Restores, which is a research and treatment clinic for post-traumatic stress disorder, and the hospitality industry are using virtual reality to stay ahead of the curve.
We do certainly provide treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD at UCF Restores. And one of the things we're always doing is trying to figure out how to make the treatment better. And so one of the things we've done over the last few years has integrated virtual reality into the treatment of post-traumatic stress disorder. It's unusual for something like virtual reality to be used as part of therapy. Most people don't think about virtual reality as part of therapy. But what we've found is that by using that, we're able to make our therapy more powerful and therefore have people have a much better response.
So our industry is always thinking outside of the box. Look at with events and engagement with augmented reality and immersive experiences where you go into an event space and it's immersed into a different environment. And these things are all ways to just enhance our event experience. But there's something that can be said for human contact, and people will always want to travel. And the difference in our industry is you can't put on video the experience of walking into those gates at Disney World. Or you can't put on a video the experience of going to a luxury spa at the Ritz-Carlton. So no matter what trends in technology happen, we are the hospitality and tourism industry. We have that touch, that special engagement and entertainment that no matter how much technology put into it, won't ever replace the in-person actual activity. So we are creative in getting those activities and engagement, but it will always be that in-person that really makes our industry awesome.
So throughout the show tonight, you'll see several of these great little spots featuring faculty from around the university talking about how creativity is realized in their disciplines. And I love how they show that creativity advances all disciplines across the university. They were created with the help of our friends at WUCF, and they really did an amazing job. So I want to give a special shout out to Trisha Connolly for her work. Incredible job, Trisha. Thank you so much. There are more of them than we were able to show here. So if you'd like to see them all, they're available on YouTube. The link is in the chat. So check it out. Now, as you all know, this year has been presented with many challenges and obstacles. And here at UCF, for its students and faculty, it's been no different. So here to tell us more about how they have adapted to and move forward within this new normal, check out this video from the music department.
I was lucky enough to work with the great jazz pianist Marcus Roberts, and he said completely I don't know why he said it. I didn't ask, unbidden. He said, music is essentially a social enterprise. And I'll never forget that. The orchestra has actually been rehearsing in person, which has been a gigantic blessing. The administration here at UCF has pretty much bent over backwards to let us meet together in person, indoors.
One thing that has really affected us over this year has, of course, been shared equipment and shared spaces. Scheduling practice in order to make sure that we can contact trace if we need to. And so a lot of the things that we've never really considered, which is, you know, sanitizing a hand drum or sanitizing a piece of hardware or other instruments before somebody else uses them, or scheduling practice and making sure that we're leaving time in the rooms to air out, making sure that we're able to spread out, and certainly programming performances without being able to host live audiences on campus.
Private lessons have gone a little differently this year because teaching strings is such a hands-on kind of discipline. If the student's doing something awkward, it's much easier to just go up to them and say, hey, your wrist is kicked out this way or that way. So we can't do that. So I'm having to demonstrate in a much more kind of precise way, and the students are having to visualize, also in that much more kind of precise way.
Especially with the ensembles, it was challenging because, in particular, the percussion area, we couldn't get access to instruments. And a lot of the instruments that the percussionists rely on are provided by the university. They're expensive, they're large, they are housed in specific spaces. And so when we lost access to the university and the Performing Arts Center and the percussion studio, we weren't able to get to those instruments. I think there's been a lot of innovative teaching and approaches and just meeting after meeting to try to come up with the best solution for faculty and students. And using outside spaces, parking garages, courtyards, the band building, different green spaces to rehearse wind and vocal areas. I think that's been a really neat thing for campus. Working with online situations and technology will forever change the way we organize and teach.
And the students, they're taking care of each other. I hear students in the hallway over there where it's safe to practice 2 or 3 people at a time. I hear students practicing orchestra music. The other day I heard 2 of the cellos practicing their orchestra music for 3 hours straight, getting the other person caught up. And that's what's going on in the School of Performing Arts right now. The students are taking care of each other, and I hope that gets baked into the DNA of what we're doing, and that never goes away. Yeah, so performing in front of an audience, actually, I got a chill from that, because we haven't done that. We've only performed for camera crews and cameras, and so that's going to be incredible.
Just I point to the students and their passion for music and for learning and why they're here. That's been really enjoyable about the past 6-9 months. So it's been a great year, and we're excited to cap it off with UCF Celebrates the Arts.
So one way to keep going through a pandemic is to create digital content, which has just exploded ever since, we were kind of all forced into these little Zoom boxes, right? And Lauren and William Calhoun, who are recent graduates of the Design and Technology program at Theater UCF, created a puppetry short film from puppet construction to filming and editing. The Calhoun twins, they create a world where a young shepherd discovers danger lurking in the night. So let's take a look at a sneak peek of the film that they've created. We're going to drop a link in the chat where you can watch the full version, but here is a trailer for The Wolf. Well, I won't be sleeping tonight. That's awesome. Very nice work. That was incredible. So our next guest will be performing an original spoken word piece. Her name is Chanel Gomaa, and she is a poet and teaching artist who has competed nationally with her poetry. Welcome, Chanel.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing so well. Can you tell us, when did you attend UCF?
So I was at UCF between 2015 and 2019.
Okay. And this may be a spoiler, but you're coming back in the fall, I hear. Is that right?
I am. I will be pursuing my master's in theater for young audiences in fall 2021.
Amazing. So can you tell us a little bit about the piece you'll be performing tonight?
Sure. So the piece is called Like 9/11, and it is a poem inspired by a conversation I actually had with a fellow student during my undergrad while we were on campus. So it's like my favorite poem that I've written, and I'm really excited to be able to kind of come full circle and do it for UCF Celebrates, since that's where the poem started.
Well, it's really incredible. And I'm really, really happy that we're going to get a chance to share it with this audience. So without further ado, please take it away.
Thank you. She says she doesn't want us dressed in fully traditional Saudi Arabian attire for a performance we are doing to honor the Saudi Arabian society at our school, because she doesn't want us to look too 9/11. And I say nothing. I taste the roof of my mouth against my tongue instead of language. Instead of educating this girl on her ignorance, I educate myself on silence again. I think about the poem, how good it will feel to get the weight of her words off of my chest the next time I have a moment to write, but I can't make the words come quicker. Like I am saving the truth for later, saving the truth for a wider audience. And now I don't know if I am more disgusted by her words or by my lack of any. I want to tell her that when my brothers wear their robes to the masjid, they do not look like 9/11. When my sisters walk by wearing hijab, niqab, or burqa, they do not look like 9/11. When I sit in sujood and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I do not imagine that I look like 9/11. I do not imagine that the terrorists who committed that crime ever prayed like I do, for anyone but themselves, for anything but suffering. I want to ask her if she knew how much of the Quran I have memorized, would she have even asked me to be here? Or would she only see me black smoke and burning buildings, all of the trauma minus the healing? I want to know what it will take for one brand of psychopath not to brand an entire people that way. Why a crime committed by one member of a minority turns the whole minority into a hate group, when a crime committed by a member of the majority is obviously a cry for help, calls for an awareness of mental illness, is just a bad day. The majority start focusing on self-care while the minority start focusing on how to blend in better, hide our accents under our tongues, make our names more appetizing for the masses to salivate over, chew up and swallow down like we were only ever made to feed them all anyway. I think how pathetic, how stupid that there are people like that girl in this world who can look at a family, a community, an ummah like mine and see us only freeze frame, breaking news, headline, and snap judgment. Then I think how pathetic, how stupid that there are people like me in this world who claim to want to be the change, then cannot find the words when it matters to be it. So I text her that night and drop out of the performance. I tell her I cannot imagine sharing a stage with people who would not want me there if they knew I grew up going to the masjid for school on Saturdays. That I cannot imagine pasting a smile to my face for a spotlight when I know that behind her choreography, she does not believe in the unity it's preaching. And she does not deny her disrespect. She apologizes and apologizes. And the unity we reach through those text messages is so much sweeter than any poem I will ever be able to write about it. Thank you for having me.
Wow. Wow. Unbelievable. That's moving and powerful and everything. Congratulations. That was incredible. Thank you. Thank you, Chanel. So next up, we have a feature on the Celeste Hotel, which is the new hotel on the UCF campus. Now, when they built the hotel, they wanted to connect with the university, and one way they did this was by including specially curated art created by UCF students in each hotel room. So let's check it out.
the Celeste Hotel, we have 179 rooms. Each room in the hotel has curated pieces. So the prints are in all of them, and there's information about the artists and the prints in each one of our guest rooms. The artwork is very well received by our guests. So people that we've had on tours and guests that we've already had in the hotel have really been excited about the artwork and actually the collaboration with UCF. They think it's very unique and different.
Hello, my name is Anthony DeSanto. I'm a recent photo major from the University of Central Florida. Forgotten Dreams is a series of snapshots that by chance didn't develop the way that I wanted them to. I was working in 35mm film at the time. This series is about 3 years old and still ongoing. But instead of a figure in a ground, I find that these images will present me with a rich field of color and shape. So I thought that the images would work perfectly in a place like the Celeste Hotel because when you take the images out of their original context, you're able to apply them to any kind of space, and because of their rich form and color, they apply to any kind of like time frame as well. So these images, it's the relationship with chance that really excites me about the work, because these images were taken by mistake. So I think heavily about abstraction and its spiritual connections when I was curating this series of work.
My name is Jacob Sewen. This May, I graduated from UCF with an MFA degree in studio art and design. These two pieces are pages from my book, Stream of Consciousness. A book explores love, life, lost, and lonesome. For me, humans are scarred stars in the sky. We share less or more connections in this humongous universe. We are a part of this present, and we will fade as the rest of the history. As a book artist, my goal is creating conceptual books to seek and celebrate the importance of oneself.
My name is Marcos Carrasco. I'm a multidisciplinary artist that works exploring photography, film, animation. I want to thank very much to the Celeste Hotel for having me with my art to be displayed in their new hotel. I have 2 pieces from my series Nebula, and this series was an exploration on abstract photography that involved an exhibition in a museum that I did, where I printed photography and I also animated this photography into a stereoscopic interactive videos. So I want to thank also the faculty of UCF and the institution for giving me this great opportunity to grow as an artist and as a profession.
Hi, my name is Colleen Falco, and I am a studio art major at UCF. I was really excited for the opportunity to create an artwork for the Celeste Hotel. My piece is titled Seeking the Unknown. It references the curiosity and the wonder we have for what else is out there and what we haven't discovered yet, and that constant search for more knowledge. And as a student, you know, as cliche as it may sound, that's why I'm here, is to learn and to grow. So I wanted to make sure that I incorporated that into my artwork.
Hi, my name is Emily Fisher, and I was a graphic design major at the University of Central Florida, and I graduated in April of 2020. When I first heard about the Celeste Hotel's opportunity to feature student work, I knew I wanted to combine my illustration and hand lettering skills with real images of space. As a graphic designer and artist, I love to problem solve and find ways to make my designs both interesting and serve a purpose. In the near future, I would love to work for an advertising agency or one of the theme parks in Orlando and make a difference in the design community.
My name is Connor Peters, and I'm a Bachelor of Science in Photography student. My intent behind these astrophotography images was to show that there is so much more to see in the night sky than what we already can. Light pollution is a main factor that affects our ability to see these different celestial bodies. A lot of planning goes into one of these images, checking the moon phase, the weather, and where your target will be in the night sky depending on the time of year are all really important. As if this isn't complicated enough, one image can take anywhere between a minute and several hours to complete. This opportunity drove me to research more about our universe, and actually led to my thesis entitled Existential, to be completely based on astrophotography. This is just the beginning of my fine art career, and I can't wait for the next series.
So cool. So cool. Our next guest is Shannon Lindsay, and she is the director of the UCF Art Gallery, which coordinated and led this unique partnership with the Celeste Hotel. So sticking to the subject of galleries and curating amazing artwork, let's talk with her and find out what's going on in the gallery. Hi, Shannon. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on?
Definitely. So those of you who may not be familiar, the UCF Art Gallery is located in the Visual Arts Building on the main campus at UCF, and we're open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Our mission is for the UCF Art Gallery to serve as a catalyst for visual art experiences in education, culture, and community engagement. The gallery hosts exhibitions and programming that examine cultural and social contexts and support contemporary art practices. We hope to encourage dialogue and intellectual and creative engagement between students, faculty, members of the community, and professional artists. We host about 6 exhibitions per year, and those exhibitions include an annual faculty exhibition where we showcase the creative works by the faculty in the School of Visual Arts and Design, which gives students a unique perspective to look into the creative practice of their faculty members and get some insight into how they're functioning as professional artists outside of the classroom. We also host biannual BFA exhibitions each semester, and this provides the opportunity for seniors in the undergraduate majors, including book arts, ceramics, drawing, experimental animation, illustration, painting, photography, printmaking, and sculpture, to share their research and artistic practice before they graduate. This also provides them an incredible professional experience to showcase their work in a professional gallery. The annual MFA exhibition also showcases students, but these are students who are in our Master of Fine Arts, Emerging Media, Studio Art, and Design program. So each of those students exhibit a pretty extensive body of work that reflects their years of study and their thesis development, which also support their written and oral defense. Additionally, we invite solo and group exhibitions by national and international contemporary artists. This allows us to showcase artwork and artists that we wouldn't regularly see in the Orlando area. And all of these exhibitions provide us an opportunity to really advocate for the gallery to be this place where we all come together, where students can come together and see what they're learning in the classroom applied in a professional space, where professional artists can come and experiment with exhibiting their work and connecting to viewers and learning more about how people are responding to their work, and really develop a space where we can continue these conversations and support contemporary art practices and visual communication. So I hope you all can visit us very soon.
Well, Shannon, thank you so much for sharing your time with us and showing us this wonderful art featured on campus and beyond. So thank you very, very, very much for being here tonight.
Thank you so much.
Of course. We'll be right back with more interviews, but first, let's check out an animation video by Dana Barnes, an alum from the School of Visual Arts and Design's MFA in Animation and Visual Effects.
I think at UCF, one of the things that we strive to teach to our students is that power of creativity and the power of listening to others from different viewpoints.
Try to talk to some of the people who are not exactly like you, which means that, if you're just talking to people with similar mindset, right? Probably you will not be able to get a lot of new ideas.
I want to be sure that my students remember that America is not the only game in town. Whether you're talking about Latin America, Asia, Western Europe, Africa, and the continent of Australia, we certainly can learn from their abilities, their approach to problem solving, and their inclusivity in a way that we should always be sensitive to.
My encouragement for students all around UCF is to find other students from different programs and be able to find those project-based learning moments where you get to work on something that's really meaningful. In our context here at Limitless, that's what we're striving to do, is trying to solve really big challenges, and we're hopeful for as many viewpoints and voices as possible.
You got to think about where the hockey puck's going. What's next? So creative, innovative people are futuristic. They're not about what's happening right now. So think about what's next. What category is next, or what category can you reshape, tweak, and flip it?
Then you're able to take those chances and be creative and maybe discover the next light bulb.
Yes, 100 times yes. Now let's talk to a group of humans that aren't afraid of doing just that, taking chances and being creative. For our next segment, I want to welcome to the virtual stage 3 phenomenal singer-songwriters. Please welcome Jerusha Cavasso, Damian Barre, and Austin Palmer.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
We have everyone here?
We're here.
We're here. Oh my gosh, there you are.
There.
Oh, there's your beautiful
All right.
faces. It's so good to see you all.
You too. Good to see you.
How are you all doing right now in this insane time?
Breathing. Deep, beautiful breaths.
Yes. Do you want to take us through a breathing exercise? No, I'm just kidding. We don't have to do that.
The fully in, fully out.
And then out again. Oh my gosh. Well, so if you would, could you all introduce yourself and tell us what productions or events our viewers might recognize you from during your time at UCF? We can start with Damian.
Hi, everyone. I was a part of the BFA Musical Theater program. I graduated in 2013. I was in many main stage productions. I was in, to name a few, Sideshow, Ragtime, Spring Awakening. I was also in the dance concerts. So you probably will remember me from there.
Very cool. Ms. Cavazos?
Hello. So I graduated from the BFA Musical Theater program in 2014. You might have seen me in Ragtime and Spring Awakening and some other stuff. And yeah, what's up?
Mr. Palmer.
Hi, Austin Palmer. I was the class of 2017 BFA Musical Theater. You may have seen me in the Drowsy Chaperone. I was in Arcadia, in Hair, and the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, as well as the very first year of UCF Celebrates the Arts.
Very cool. Do you guys, can you stick around for a little bit and answer a few questions? Is that cool?
That sounds great.
Sure.
Awesome. Let's start with you, Damian. Can you talk about your journey as a musician? Where and how did you get your start?
Sure. So I started performing when I was very young, but as far as songwriting goes, when I first started writing music, it was really something that I was kind of doing as like a private passion. I didn't really have any immediate plans to really do anything with it. And the summer before my sophomore year at UCF, I started a blog kind of just talking about my process on a new musical that I was writing called Life Goes On. And my friend and classmate, Joshua Morales, reached out to me and he said, I've been following your blog, and I actually in the fall was wanting to produce some new contemporary musical theater work. And he asked if I would be interested in presenting my work. And I remember just immediately being terrified and just feeling a lot of, self-doubt and fear and, am I ready for something like that? Am I good enough? And I kind of had to just talk myself down and be like, okay, Damien, you can't miss out on an opportunity like this to finally share all of this stuff that you're working on with other people. So I seized the moment and I said, let's look at it as an exciting opportunity and not something to be afraid of. And we did the workshop that fall, and it was one of the most magical experiences of my life. And that was really the beginning of my journey as a songwriter. And I think it's really cool that I was invited to be a panelist for this event for UCF, where I made my debut as a songwriter. So that's a really cool full circle moment, and I'm happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you. And I imagine as a creator, it's got to be so emotionally challenging to give something over to a group of other creators who are trying to adapt your work, right? I mean, it's got to be, it's just got to be so hard to let your baby go into somebody else's arms. So I applaud you for taking that and having the courage to do that. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Of course. Jerusha,
hello.
You got some advice for UCF students wanting to put out their own music?
Sure. Okay, so I remember when I first started writing music thinking that I was unqualified to be a songwriter, and I loved it. And I'd been doing it since I was 10 years old, but I didn't really believe it was possible to claim as something that I did. And during my first week of rehearsal for the show that I made my Broadway debut in, a cast member invited us.
Show us that real quick, one more time.
The what?
What show was that?
Oh, I was in The Prom on Broadway.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't interrupt
No,
you.
you're good. No. So during the first week of rehearsals, one of the other cast members at the show invited the whole cast to go see a show that he had written. And I remember running up to him with stars in my eyes being like, hey, how did you you wrote it and then someone put money into it? What's going on? And he calmed me down and he was like, he held my hands and was like, just keep writing and the door will open. Write every single day. And he was so serious when he said it. And I ended up reading a book by Malcolm Gladwell that basically says that you're a master at anything that you devote 10,000 hours to. And so when I added up all my hours since the age of 10, I realized that nobody could actually tell me that I wasn't a master at this thing that I loved. I was. I put the work in. So I encourage everyone to literally write every day, whether it's just a verse or it's a full song. This morning I wrote 3 verses and I'll never do anything with it besides keep it in my diary, but I wrote, and I think that's important. I really think it's also important to not let the fear of imposter syndrome hold us back. I think we all need a little bit of that childlike faith and that fake it till you make it culture, and to own it and not be ashamed of our dreams.
I mean, that's what we're all doing, right? I mean, there's only so much preparation and education you can receive before you just have to go out there and just do it, right? And so that term "fake it till you make it," I feel like always gets such a negative, kind of vibe for it. For what you're really saying is you just
keep going.
Keep going, right? Exactly, 100%.
100.
Well, thank you so much for that. And Mr. Austin Palmer. Oh, I just want to remind everyone, if you want to hear some of the music that these three have written and that we're discussing tonight, check it out. It's in the chat. You're going to love it. It's awesome. So with that, we're going to turn it over to Mr. Austin Palmer. And I just want to know who or what were you most influenced by in your musical journey?
That's a tough question. Personally, first and foremost, got to shout out my parents. They were really influential in being the most supportive people in my creative achievement and me being the kind of creative person I wanted to be, and never stopped me from wanting to, play different sorts of instruments or go try out for different shows. They would always drive me to different things and were always there for me, no matter what kind of reason. And they were also just big art lovers themselves. My dad owns literally thousands of CDs, which kind of rubbed off on me into, I think, my ability of sponging different kinds of genres and vocal, like all different sounds, basically. I never stay in one place when I'm writing, basically. I find like a lot of it like bounces around. But when it does come to writing, I think a lot of that stems from my experience in the theater. Looking back on my early like notebooks and songs that I was writing, it looks more like I'm doing scene work for this character that I'm creating more than a lyrical sheet.
Cool. Yeah. That's awesome. So, like, do you have any bands specifically that you that you have been influenced by?
Oh, for sure. I tend to live in the 60s and 70s pop scene sonically in my mind. Like the Beatles are my favorite band. Paul McCartney is one of the top of the pops. And the kind of precipice of that era and theater where you have like the Who doing Tommy and Jesus Christ Superstar. You of course very, very familiar with those. Yeah.
Yes, I've heard of those. I've heard of those pieces. Thank you so much, Austin. So just so that we can all make sure that we are well versed in all the art that you three have created. Where can we find and stream your music? Starting with you, Damien.
Yes, I have my music available pretty much everywhere: Spotify, iTunes, anywhere that you find music. I am also on Instagram and TikTok. My handle is at my first and last name, Damien Bray.
Awesome. And Jerusha?
Same thing, all streaming services, Amazon, YouTube, Spotify, all of it. My handle is at Jerusha Cavazos. Follow me. It's a fun time.
Awesome. Austin, where can we find you?
Double ditto. Got all the streaming services that we've named again. I have two albums out, Empire Man and Granite, that I just dropped in January. I'm also pretty active on Instagram at the Austin Palmer.
Not to be confused with any other Austin Palmers. You are the Austin Palmer,
baby. And B.
Awesome. Well, thank you three so much for being here. It's an absolute pleasure, and I can't wait to dive into this music.
Yay! Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care, y'all. All right, we're gonna take a short 5-minute break, and while we're away, you can enjoy some music from these alumni. And speaking of, if you are an alumni, visit the link in the chat and find out how you can get more involved with an alumni chapter near you. Now, as soon as we're back, we will check in with our printmaking artists to see how they're coming along with their project. You don't want to miss it. It's insane. I can't believe that they're doing this live, and you'll see. It's amazing. We'll see you in 5 minutes.
I like the boys who whisper behind my back, dreaming like toys, they never learn how to act. I like the boys who choose me, then use me, and then they get through me, and that's when they lose me. And I like it best when I'm not wrapped up in you, you try to test, but I can't get into you, lie it to rest, cause I've got what they want, these blank checks and papers, cause you're a traitor. And it's so easy when I don't have feelings I don't want. Those feelings won't control, not needing. And you deceive me, make it easy leaving. And it's so appealing when I don't have feelings. So appealing when I don't have feelings. So you look me up, I'm confident on my shit, leave so abrupt. It feels so irrelevant, try to disrupt a game flow that I know, cause I made the rules, babe. So I get to choose, babe. I walk out the door, I don't even hear it close. Say I'm so cold, but that's just the juxtapose. You want console to feel like a savior, but I'm out of favors. It's now, babe, not later. And it's so easy when I don't have feelings I don't want. Those feelings won't control, not needing. And you deceive me, make it easy leaving. And it's so appealing when I don't to live a dream in the city that never sleeps. Blinding lights, buildings that kiss the sky, your bird's eye pass by, racing down the track. Don't ask 'cause I won't tell. I found my rhythm, but I lost myself. Blinding lights, buildings that kiss the sky, your bird's eye pass by, racing down the track. Don't ask 'cause I won't tell. I found my rhythm, but I lost myself, racing down the track.
I've been incredibly impressed with how the School of Performing Arts and the College of Arts and Humanities proceeded through the remainder of the spring semester. It is challenging to make sure that we're still upholding the principles of music education and the experiences of creative outlets like performing, and just getting students into a room and rehearsing music live and in person is really going to be a challenge.
This trash and this dress are symbolic of the struggle that Puerto Rico has endured since Hurricane Maria.
In my head, I had a color scheme, sort of, and an idea. There's no real details because I don't really know where anything's going to be or what it's actually going to look like except the overall silhouette. You know, I want to physically feel this weight on me. I want to physically have to work on dragging this thing, but it's also like sorrow, but resilience, right? But there's a pride. There's such pride in being Puerto Rican.
UCF has a really wonderful program that is a way for the community to come together, where it's not those that like art go to the opera or to the symphony, those that like science go to the lecture. Let's come together and get people to engage with the scientific ideas through the art. That's a different way of engaging with science.
I really love the idea of turning someone into a work of art. Taking your imagination and just making it real on another person. It's a really brilliant way to express yourself. I'll be using a foam latex prosthetic and just applying that over my brow area and blending it into the rest of my face to create a sort of cohesive space alien.
And the minute I heard jazz music as a kid, I knew that's what I wanted to do. Well, as the Director of Jazz Studies, I oversee the program, and I specifically teach the Jazz Workshop, which is a playing group. It's an integrated teaching experience.
Bach Festival Society is a Central Florida treasure. It's a cultural treasure. The concerts that are provided, the opportunities for community members and others to make music is second to none. And you're talking about world-class literature for the choral works that really are only presented by the Bach Festival Society.
Welcome back, everyone, from our unofficial intermission. So let's dive right back into our evening by checking in with Ashley Taylor to see how the live print is going. Hey, Ashley, you can give us an update.
Hey, Justin, welcome back, everyone. As you can see, the crew has been super busy printing away. Let me introduce you. So these are designers and studio artists with the School of Visual Arts and Design. Starting right here is Gabby. Then over there is Maria. We have Michael. We have John, Mia, and Scott. So as you can see, this is the progress. Now I want to show you part of the screen printing process here. So we're going to have Gabby pull a screen right now. So pull meaning pulling the squeegee back. Right now, she's going to charge it with water-based ink. So all these are water-soluble inks. So it's kind of environmentally friendly here. Once the screen's been charged, then yeah, perfect. We're gonna hold it together and then we're gonna pull. And what's happening is ink getting forced through the screen. And they're gonna do it a few times. As you can see, we're using the Arts On logo here. It's looking awesome. Yeah, maybe yank this way, just a different direction. There you go. Pretty thick stuff. That's awesome. As you can see how fast this process is. And voila, that looks awesome. Yeah. So we're gonna be printing along this whole time. You can see there's really, this was blank. This is awesome. It's looking really great. Over here then, Michael, you're gonna print that one?
Yep.
So you can see the screen's blank. This is all artwork from the students that contributed. They used themes of arts, Florida, UCF inspired imagery, brought their own kind of style into this. So yeah, tune back in at the end of the event. We are gonna have a nice big reveal, a nice little surprise. In the meantime, we're gonna be printing away.
Woo, what a tease. Oh man, I can't wait to see what that looks like. It looks so cool, all those colors. Anyways, UCF has been the recipient of an NEA grant for the Big Read for the last 6 years. Now, this year was no exception, even though things looked a little different because of COVID. So let's take a look.
The University of Central Florida is one of 84 communities nationwide participating in the 2020-2021 NEA Big Read, a program of the National Endowment for the Arts. In partnership with Arts Midwest, the NEA Big Read broadens our understanding of our world, our communities, and ourselves through the joy of sharing a good book. Between January 14th and February 28th, UCF's College of Arts and Humanities partnered with Seminole County Public Libraries, the Florida Prison Education Project, the UCF Art Gallery, UCF Alumni, Town and Gown, the Orlando Museum of Art, and the UCF Africana Studies program to celebrate Silver Sparrow by Tayari Jones. Our programming coincided with Black History Month, and we worked with curator Janelle Logan to create But Before Bone is Skin, an exhibition that brought together work by 5 contemporary artists.
I'll just share a couple of images of the exhibition with you. These are installation shots, so you get a sense of how the work is coming together. The work in this show, I think, really creates this great kind of conversation. And just to give you a sense, we collectively kind of read the text and really started to tease out ideas. As a curator, kind of started thinking about what are some of the ideas that are really, I think, personally kind of coming up from the text. And then also, I think conceptually, where are places that we could have really kind of dynamic, rich visual conversation between artists' work. As you enter into the space, you will see a range of work, installation, photography, work that's made from textiles, ceramics, and it really is, I think, a conversation about the dynamics around being a woman, figuring out your identity and how you navigate that space. Also, there's this legacy of object that was something that was really important. If you haven't read the text, I encourage you to do so, but object and the meanings that we kind of project on them really became a large part of the conversation. You will really find a range of work that may at first seem different, but when you occupy and sit in the space, you really see the conversations that are happening. What's also exciting is some of the artists actually know each other. And so there's also this exchange, I think, of idea and practice that kind of bleeds across space and unifies, I think, some of the ideas and some of the work and some of the questions that we ask.
We also welcomed author Tahari Jones for a virtual discussion about her career and writing process. Tahari Jones is the author of 4 novels, most recently An American Marriage, which was a 2018 Oprah's Book Club selection and won the 2019 Women's Prize for Fiction. She was interviewed by Jason D. Gregory, a UCF alumnus and lecturer in the English department.
I never understood that I could be a writer, and I think it's because I was a girl. I didn't know that Black girls did things. So it wasn't until I went to Spelman College, which, you know, is a historically Black college for women in Atlanta, that I saw women in charge of something. And Black women were in charge there, not by default. And so that's when I came to realize I had a unique growing up. And I always wrote, but I wrote about Atlanta just because it's what I know. My first book is about growing up in Atlanta during the Atlanta child murders. Because it's what I knew. I didn't set out when I did that to accomplish any political task, because it was just the truth. But I have also come to understand that a Black person's perspective, since it is February, is necessarily disruptive, because you're telling your story in a world that is not accustomed to hearing your story. But I was unique because I didn't know that. I didn't know that the world didn't want to hear my story. So it was all just kind of all together. And I wrote about children a lot because, you know, I was a child for many years myself.
Right.
And I also felt like children are the most marginal among us. Their voices are always discounted. And so I was kind of writing on behalf of young people in general, but also on behalf of the young person that I was. I always say novels, I'm at the early stages of it, and novels are the opposite of love. You know how love is fun at the beginning?
Yeah.
And a mess when it's almost over?
Mm-hmm.
Well, with novels, it's the opposite. They're so hard in the beginning. And then when they get to be really fun, they're over. But how about this though? I did write a short piece for Audible called Dispossession. That's about, it's another Atlanta piece. I wrote it in response to Black Lives Matter, but no one goes to prison and no one dies. When I was doing all this research, like I said, for An American Marriage, I felt like I was trying to put statistics to music, right? Like the new Jim Crow, a musical, and it just wasn't happening.
UCF has been hosting the NEA Big Read for 6 years, and over the years, we have seen how a great book brings people together. This year, community connection has been more important than ever before. The NEA Big Read Central Florida hosted 15 book clubs and distributed 325 books to the Central Florida community. We are proud of our role in bringing this art to the community and thank the NEA, Arts Midwest, and all of our partners for making it possible.
Thank you, Big Read. So I'm certainly not the only UCF alumnus who has graced the stages of Broadway. Jerusha Cavazos, who we heard from earlier, was the original cast of The Prom. UCF has had alumni working on and off stage in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, White Christmas, Cats, Once. Ben Hope was fantastic. I got to see him in that show. He was really, really great. Once on This Island, just to name a few. We also have alumni working on Broadway tours. And here is one of you may have heard of. It's called Hamilton. It's a little popular. I think they have like something like 1,000 productions all over the world right now. But our very own Abby Yaros toured with Hamilton through Orlando, which is so cool and something I've always wanted to do. So if you saw the show here, you definitely saw Abby. She kills it. She's amazing. And she's been working on a new project to help bring music to kids. So let's hear about it.
Hi, my name is Abby Yaros. I was a BFA musical theater major and a dance minor, and I graduated in the fall of 2014. Almost immediately after, I moved up to New York City, and I'm still here 6 years later. A little over a year ago, right before the pandemic hit, I decided that I wanted to get involved with a nonprofit called the Ukelele Kids Club, whose mission is to give the gift of music to hospitalized children, who then work with music therapists. And so what we do is we raise money to donate ukuleles. It's so cool to watch these kids experience music and work with these music therapists. And oh my gosh, the joy that comes out of all of it is really invaluable. So what I decided to do is involve the Broadway community in this mission. And we have opened a new branch called UKC Broadway. Now, coming up is our first ever cabaret. It is on April 8th at 7 p.m. It's on a donate what you can basis for tickets. And if you buy a ticket, you'll be able to stream the show for 72 hours. Now, you're gonna wanna be there for the live show though, because we have a pink ukulele signed by the original cast of Mean Girls up for a raffle. So, you're not gonna wanna miss this event. It is full of beautiful Broadway stars who are so incredibly talented and so giving of their time and talent, especially during this time. And it's just gonna be a fun time. So join us, I'll see you there. Thanks, UCF.
Oh, thank you, Abby. I'm coming after that pink ukulele. I want it. I want it, and I'm going to get it. I'm just kidding. I don't want to deprive a child of an amazing gift. Anyways, UCF Celebrates the Arts is a big deal for all of the artistic disciplines. But as we've seen and heard throughout the course of the evening, creativity is a core value across all disciplines on campus. So next up, let's take a look outside of the College of Arts and Humanities and hear how faculty and staff inspire their students to use creativity in innovative ways.
So I've had students who I've asked to maybe create something in a project, and they're like, I can't create it. I don't draw. I don't know. I mean, I'm just not a good artist, and all these things that they will say. And I would say to them, I don't care if you give me your best stick figure drawing, but if you put yourself into it, then the outcome will be seen.
I don't hand out assignments or projects. I let them come up with their own and then see what they can do. I say, look, give me your best product, okay? Whatever that looks like. Give me your best presentation. I don't care if it's a PowerPoint, a Prezi, you get up here and do a play, I don't care. Whatever is the best product for you.
There is such an emphasis right now on project-based learning because it helps drive the way we approach problems and the way we work together to solve problems. I think for many students, and my own experience included, the capstone projects tend to be the ones where we have that aha moment of this is what it means to be able to support a teammate, to work together. And I hope that more people will be able to develop those kind of project-based learnings earlier on in their collegiate career, so they get better practice with that early.
This is not about an A. This is about you becoming who you say you want to be when you entered into this program.
So if Disney World, Universal, and SeaWorld are in your backyard, then it makes sense to have a Theater for Young Audiences program at your university. Let's meet two of the students in that program, Sage Tokach and Jimena Gonzalez.
Hello.
Hello, hello. How are you this evening?
Doing well.
Yeah? Let's see, we have both of you in here. Yep, we got Sage and Jimena. Here we go. Can you both tell us a little bit about the show that you're currently working on?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're working on The Grumpiest Boy in the World by Finnegan Krugemeyer, and it's a show that validates strong emotions and asks what makes us special. So it started with our TYA, Theater for Young Audiences, touring class, and we produced performances at UCF, and then we did a tour of playgrounds to two of the UCP United Cerebral Palsy schools in Orlando.
Very cool. And when is the show?
So you can watch this show on Saturday. It's at 11:30 a.m. at the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts in the front yard.
Awesome. Oh, in the front yard. That's so cool. And who is this show for? What type of audience?
Yeah, so this show was written for young children, elementary school age, and their families. But we found that it definitely applies to all audiences, and any people of any age can find a theme or an image or an idea that they can resonate with.
Awesome. Yeah, I have an 18-month-old daughter, and I watch a lot of cartoons right now, and so I really appreciate the ones that entertain the parents as well. It's it's definitely a gift. Can you tell us a little bit about what the show is about?
Absolutely. So Zachary, he thinks he's not very special. He thinks he's just very normal and very average. And he goes on this journey with his imagination, and he meets all these amazing creatures and people, and he discovers what makes him special. And that is, like the title says, that he's the grumpiest boy in the world. And he's very proud of it.
That's awesome. Well, Jimena and Sage have brought us a trailer to watch. So let's go ahead and take a look.
And the adventure begins.
Oh, that looks like a blast. Well, thank you, Sage and Jimena. The Grumpiest Boy in the World is part of UCF Celebrates the Arts, playing on April 10th at 11:30 a.m. at the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts. For tickets and more details, please visit the link in the chat. All right, so moving forward, UCF bills itself as a partnership university, but how does that manifest itself? Let's learn from community organization, Central Florida Community Arts.
Hello, I'm Joshua Vickery, founder and executive director of Central Florida Community Arts. As part of UCF Celebrates the Arts, we want to highlight our partnership with UCF, as well as the continued involvement of UCF alumni in the arts throughout their lives after graduation. While UCF alumni are involved in an array of CFC Arts programs, many alumni have chosen to be a part of our symphony orchestra, bringing the joy of music to Central Floridians everywhere. Let's hear from a few of those UCF alumni members.
Hi, I'm Ina. I graduated with my bachelor's in anthropology in spring 2020. I currently work in the museum industry. I've been playing flute with the Central Florida Community Arts Orchestra for 7 years now. And my favorite thing about this orchestra is the community of it.
Hi, my name's Keith. I've got a bachelor's and master's in computer science from UCF, 1979 1983. I'm in the IT industry. I've been in it for over 30 years. I played the trombone. I have been here for 7 years. And my favorite thing about the orchestra is it lets all people of all ages and all talents participate.
Hi, my name is Sarah Myers. I'm the class of 2012 in music education. I currently teach elementary music in St. Cloud, Florida. I played the trumpet here in the orchestra and the big band with CFC Arts, and I've been here for 3 years. And my favorite thing is no matter what's happening in the world, no matter what's happening in our lives all week, we get to come here with other people and have fun together on the weekends doing what we love.
CFC Arts is proud to have UCF as a partner. They have been a long-time supporter of our programs, and the UCF College of Arts and Humanities Dean, Mr. Jeff Moore, has served on our board of directors for several years. CFC Arts also offers internships to UCF students and even has 2 working with our marketing team right now. We are looking forward to continuing to find ways to partner with the university for years to come. At the onset of the pandemic in March of 2020, CFC Arts staff took only 2 days off to plan before pivoting to online classes, lessons, and cabaret performances. We created new content and relevant programming to keep people creative and connected. The orchestra held virtual rehearsals throughout the summer and eased into live rehearsals in September with smaller sections and strict safety guidelines. The orchestra performed a Halloween concert at Mead Gardens, the first in-person concert since March.
Hi, I'm Justin Matthew, and I direct our symphony orchestra here at CFC Arts, and we have taken a lot of steps to help our musicians return safely to rehearsals. From finding an enormous rehearsal venue where we can spread out and socially distance throughout rehearsal, to wearing masks, providing hand sanitizer, sanitizing every surface, and even providing a Zoom link where we broadcast these rehearsals right into people's homes if they're more comfortable participating from home. We've taken a lot of steps to make sure our community of musicians can get back to performing for you.
Oh, so great. The innovation during this time has just been so inspiring. So it's really, really great to see. Well, let's switch gears towards literature. UCF's English department has a great creative writing program, and we wanted to talk with a writer. So we've got Veronica Silva here with us today. She is a senior and serves as the editor-in-chief of The Cypress Dome. Hi, Veronica.
Hi, Justin. Thank you for that introduction. I'm so excited to be here. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you. I'm excited to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Why don't you tell us about the piece that you're going to be reading for us today?
Sure. So my poem is called On Being Seen, and it deals with themes of visibility and identity, especially regarding ethnicity and gender.
Well, I can't wait to hear it. Take it away.
Of course. On Being Seen. It's love bug season, and somewhere between your town and mine, we stop at a gas station to fuel up and scrape their guts off our windshields. The dog is whining in my back seat, wondering why I've left him. A pickup truck pulls up next to me, and the top half of the man's body is practically hanging out of his rolled down window. Is that your boyfriend? You're at the next pump, preoccupied with your own bug-smudged glass, and I say yes. Confident it's the right answer and he'll drive away. But I can still feel his heavy gaze and the movement of my breasts when I pump my arms to wipe the glass. I want to turn away from him, but I remember the backs of my thighs, my ass, the anatomy of prey, humans, and our forward-facing eyes. Most days I don't know how to be the right kind of invisible. You're walking to me now and the dog is growling. Shiny, wet teeth pressed against the window. When he asks if I'm Spanish, I say Hispanic, and I know he shrugs because he believes I've given him a synonym. He shouts at you, "And you're American?" You respond, "We both are," like it's a challenge, and it surprises even me because that doesn't always feel true. I'll spend the rest of the drive studying my own face in the rear view, wondering if we have both become blind to my otherness, wondering if you never would have seen what it's like to be a woman unless you had one of your own. I roll the window down for the dog, and he releases the pulled back bow of his snarling lip and howls. His hound snout, his elongated neck, his entire body straightens like an arrow pointing. Here is the embarrassing ordeal of being a girl in a tank top pumping gas, the spectacle of being maybe American in America. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. That's an incredibly, personal and very moving piece that you just did for us. If you'd like to see more of Veronica's work, we've put her Instagram handle in the chat, so please check it out. She's incredible. So moving right along, when a lot of people think about music composers, they automatically think of Mozart and Beethoven, etc. But there's also an incredible and growing need for music industries in the industries like film, TV, themed experiences, and especially gaming. Until recently, UCF didn't have a full-time composition professor. Recognizing the need for this position, particularly in Central Florida, where the game design and themed experience industries are centered, a generous donor supported the full-time faculty position. And here's a sample of the music being written by the students in the program. This piece is by Michael Delgado. For our next segment, I want to welcome 4 incredible alumni of the Emerging Media MFA program at the School of Visual Arts and Design. We're going to talk about their journeys as artists, what projects they're currently working on, their influences, and what advice they might have for those out there hoping to follow in their footsteps. So please welcome Dana Barnes, Jacob Wan, Jason Francic, and Heather Knott. Hello, how are you all?
Hi, hello, doing pretty well.
Thank you so much for being here. Can you all introduce yourself and tell us what program you were part of? Can we start with Dana?
All right, hi everybody. I'm from the MFA program, the Emerging Media MFA track, and I did the animation and visual effects focus.
Very cool, very cool. And Jacob?
I am from MFA in Studio Art and Design, and I just graduated from last year.
Awesome. And Mr. Francic?
Yeah, I'm MFA program also. I was in the same cohort with Jacob Wan, graduated 2020.
Excellent. How about you, Heather?
Yeah, I was in the Emerging Media Animation and Visual Effects MFA, and I'm class of 2020.
Excellent. Do you mind if I ask you all a few questions for our audience?
Absolutely.
Great. So Dana, can you tell us about your journey as a visual artist? How did you get your start?
I got my start, I want to say way back around age 12. My dad brought home some software from his old job, and he loaded into the family computer, and I started playing around with everything like it was a playground, and I got very familiar with like animating. I kind of self-taught myself. And soon after that, I kind of discovered it was a medium that I could connect with spiritually, and it was also something that I found myself through. So you all might have saw my film Amplify earlier today. So really, it's Amplify kind of calls back to that time where I really found my roots as an animator.
And how old were you when that happened?
I was 12 years old when that happened. And I just kind of kept going from there.
Yeah, it's great. It's always great to kind of, you know, find your path at such a young age.
Yeah.
Thank you. So Heather, biggest influence, who you got, or what do you have?
This one may seem a little bit cliche now, but my biggest influence growing up was actually Tim Burton. His sort of successful elevation of the outcast to the hero level really kind of inspired me to embrace my creative otherness, especially since no one had really shown that perspective at that time and it was desperately needed.
Yeah, so favorite Tim Burton movie?
So it's kind of contentious. My favorite movie is Nightmare Before Christmas, even though that wasn't technically Tim Burton. It's Henry Selick, but it was based off of Burton's ideas. And then second favorite is actually Beetlejuice.
Oh yes, absolutely. I really want to see Danny Elfman perform that live. You know, all the other night. Have you done it? Have you been?
I haven't. It's on my bucket list.
Oh, me too. All right. I could talk about it all day, but we have to move on. I'm so sorry. Jason, can you talk about the societal impact your visual art has been having?
Yeah, I did a series last year when the quarantine began called Low Key Community. And I started out as, what is my community? My community is whoever's around me, people I encounter every day, people I know and I work with. And I found a group of people who are system impacted, formerly incarcerated, who have pulled themselves out of the dirt when they got out and literally made and paved their own way. And I highlight their stories. I amplify their voices through photography. Mm-hmm. And it's just been a wonderful journey, meeting new people and providing opportunities. Also, I work with Florida Prison Education Project, and I just transitioned over as a program coordinator there. Formerly, I was teaching art in the prisons, and we were bringing a voice that they don't have, where art helps them to speak in a way that they're not comfortable with, familiar with, but allows everybody to absorb better than words. So the system, the societal impact is just giving people a voice and allowing people to see beyond our pasts.
Right, offering a unique perspective into you know, a group that has unfortunately been, you know, for the most part, kind of forgotten about in society. So that's really great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Jacob, what is your advice to those wanting to pursue a career in the visual arts?
I would say be brave, go explore to learn who you are, because you are full of possibilities. Don't be afraid of making mistakes, because you will learn from this experience. And take care of yourself, love yourself, and believe in yourself. You are your best friend and the strongest support. So with patience, effort, and commitment, you can overcome everything. That's what I would say. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, what better advice can you possibly give someone than just to believe in yourself, right? I mean, it's beautiful. Very well said. Thank you so much. And thank you all for sharing your time and talent with us this evening. And we've put all of your Instagram handles up in the chat. So please, if you're watching this, go check out these wonderful artists and you know, let them know how much you are appreciative of their work. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here. Up next is an animation feature by current students of the School of Visual Arts and Design. Let's check it out.
I'm Christina Christie, and I worked on Tiffany, a short film from the character animation program at the University of Central Florida. After premiering our film this past April, it's been making its rounds both online and in the film festival circuit, which is awesome. And it's been screening alongside some really great live action films and other really great animated shorts. But while browsing the comments on our film and interacting with some of the people at film festivals, people keep asking how it happened. So I thought I'd take you guys on a little behind the scenes tour of one of our sequences. It's one of our final sequences actually, so if you haven't seen the film, go check it out first. And I'm really hoping that this video can help demystify the whole filmmaking process, specifically for the people who were supportive of the film since its inception, but didn't really know or understand what was going on underneath the hood to make it happen. So without further ado, here is our last sequence as it appears in our final film. thumbnails called storyboards. Over 1,000 storyboards were drawn over the course of Tiffany's production. And this step is super important because it's our first look at what the film might look like on screen. It's our first pass at potential camera angles, composition, and timing, so it helps us spot potential problems long before we're actually producing the film. Of course, there is still a lot left to do, namely translating those 2D drawings into 3D. This involves kind of nailing down the geometry or physicality of the characters in 2D so they can be well translated to 3D, applying colors and what are called shaders to the model to make sure it interacts with light properly, and of course making sure that our character can act on screen to make sure our story gets across to our audience. This portion is called rigging, and it involves putting a skeleton inside of a model and making it move with a series of controls that the animators have free access to. And this process through which a 2D concept becomes a 3D model is extremely time consuming, and it requires a lot of quality control and a lot of teamwork. For us, everything you see on screen was conceptualized by one of our team members and then brought to life by hand by our modeling and texturing team. Once we have some basic character models and a rough block model of the environment, we can move on to something called layout. It is not the prettiest step of the production pipeline, but it is where we put our cameras in 3D for the first time and try and match our storyboards. From there, the rig and models are finalized and our animators can finally start animating the characters in the scene. Once the animation lead is satisfied with the quality of animation, it moves on to the lighting team, who illuminates the set, and then it finally reaches the rendering and compositing team. The rendering and compositing team is responsible for making sure that the final look of the film is exactly as we intended it. This involves color correction, looking for things that shouldn't be there like very bright hot spots or other such anomalies, and fixing them before it goes to the final cut. And honestly, there's even more to it than this, like editing and music composition and Foley, but I'm not going to go into that here. I hope this video cleared up some of the mysteries behind the making of this short film, and remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Tiffany the Film to keep up with what film festivals we'll be screening at in the near future.
Absolutely incredible. So on a somber note, as I'm sure that most of you know, the College of Arts and Humanities lost 2 longtime faculty members this year. From the English department, Pat Angley passed away last fall, and from the School of Performing Arts, Mark Brotherton passed away just last month. Both of these faculty members made a huge impact on the students at UCF, and they will be deeply missed. Theater student Kayla Lambert worked closely with Mark and is going to read Shakespeare Sonnet number 104 in memory of both Pat and Mark.
Hello. To me, fair friend, you never can be old. For as you were when first your eyes I eyed, such seems your beauty still. 3 winters cold have from the forest shook 3 summers' pride. 3 beauteous springs to yellow autumn turned. In process of the seasons have I seen 3 April perfumes and 3 hot Junes burn. Since first I saw you fresh, which yet are green, yet doth beauty like a dial hand steal from his figure and no pace perceived. So your sweet hue, which methinks still doth stand, hath motion, and mine eye may be deceived, for fear of which, hear this, thou age unbred, ere you were born, was beauty's summers dead. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyla. And on a personal note, I I never actually got to work with Mark. I never got to take a class with Mark, but I did get to work with him. In fact, it was my first professional job ever. I was terrified. It was Pippin at the Orlando Repertory Theater for the summer program. And Mark not only played my father, but he also played my grandmother. So I have kind of a unique perspective into his performance ability, which was pretty remarkable. So he will definitely be deeply missed. And the UCF Foundation is collecting gifts in memory of Mark Brotherton. If you would like to make a contribution to help create a new scholarship fund in his memory, or to the Patricia Angley Memorial Scholarship in English, the links are in the chat. Now, as we start to wrap up our evening, let's check in one last time with Ashley Taylor and her printmaking students to see the finished product. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Ashley?
Hey, Justin, welcome back. This
Thank
crew
you.
hustled the whole time. Oh, man, I'm so proud of y'all. Are we ready to see this? Yeah. So after 2 hours, we printed 12 colors, full of imagery. And like I said, I'm really proud. So are we ready? Ready for the countdown? Here's our little surprise.
Oh, wow.
So it says Arts at UCF. This has been screen printing. Like I said, we offer screen printing, etching, lithography, relief, all sorts of kind of old processes, but we bring in our digital and new processes together. So these have handmade drawings as well as digital drawing combined.
Oh, it's amazing.
And that's been the printmaking department at the School of Visual Arts and Design. Thank you all for joining us. It's been really fun. This will be hanging up at the UCF Student Union, so feel free to see it in person and have a wonderful night.
Yes, thank you so much, Ashley. Thank you so much. Yes, it looks incredible. Congratulations. This is art happening live on Zoom. That's amazing. It's just phenomenal. As a fellow artist, it's always so humbling to be able to witness art created just right before your eyes. What a fun and memorable experience. Oh my goodness. Wow, this has been an incredible evening, and it's been so rewarding to work on this project. And I just got to say, to see so many individuals create art in a time when it has been needed the most is just, it's very fulfilling and very inspiring. So now I can't let this evening end before thanking the incredibly hardworking teams behind the scenes of this event, from the College of Arts and Humanities, Heather Gibson, Stephen Risco, Hannah Estes, and Azela Santana, and from Kelsey Morales Company, Kayla Kelsey and Joshian Morales. Thank you both so much. It's been a pleasure to work on this. You've done a wonderful job. It's just been phenomenal. And collectively, we would also like to thank Dean Moore and President Cartwright for spending some time with us this evening and emphasizing the importance of creativity in all disciplines across UCF. It's been an honor to return to UCF virtually and reconnect with a few of the few fellow alumni, current students, and the faculty and staff in such a fun and innovative way. Now, if you want to see anything that I'm working on, there's currently a show that I shot last month with some other Broadway performers called Reflections of Who's Next. It is going to start streaming on April 30th. Check it out. We had a lot of fun. It's a nice little kind of homage to The Who and my favorite band of all time. And the singers are just incredible. So please check it out. Now, if you want to stay up to date with my upcoming projects, follow me at Justin M. Sargent on Instagram, and be sure to keep your eye on the new Broadway bound musical, Super You. It is so good. It is amazing. Y'all gonna love it. I get to play a bad guy, which I never get to play, so I'm super excited about that. But anyways, thank you all for your time. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Stay safe, stay healthy, go UCF and charge on. And like we like to end all of our events, let's go. Let's get some audio in here. Let's get everybody's cameras up. We're gonna play the UCF fight song. Okay, everybody ready?